families, and welcome to our Autumn 2 video where we'll be explaining what we will be doing in English and in maths. So as you know, just like this half term, in English I'll be teaching you alongside Mrs Rollins, and in maths there'll be Mr Bevan and Miss Tohopoulos. So in English we'll be focusing on our topic of peasants,
princes
and pestilence.
and this will be linking to all the writing genres that we do. So some of the things that we'll be looking at are letters and diaries with a real big focus on emotive language, really thinking about how did those characters feel back in the medieval times. We'll be also talking about the Black Death and how that impacted the world, and writing a little bit of a non-chronological report about that. Our SPAG focus will be the past progressive. So this is where you are either a was or were, followed by a verb, and then on the end it has the suffix ing. So for example, Bob was eating a cake. The past progressive of that sentence is was eating. Now sometimes you might have more than one person. For example, they were playing football. So the past progressive of that sentence would be were playing, because you've got was or were, our verb play, followed by the suffix ing. So usually in your SATs papers, you will get questions like this that will say identify the past progressive in this sentence. And they try and trick you by making the sentence quite long, okay? So you've got I went to the park and took part in different activities. I was playing on the swings with my friends. So let's see if Mr Bevan has been listening. Mr Bevan, what would be the past progressive of that sentence?
So we're looking for was or were, verb ing. So I can see was playing.
Fantastic. So what we do is we always underline the was or the were and the playing. Sometimes we can underline the entire sentence, but that isn't the past progressive. We're just focusing on the was or the were playing, the verb then the ing. We will also be continuing to develop our knowledge on active voice and passive voice. We have started this in Autumn 1 as a SPAG focus, but now we're going to try using it in our work. So active voice is when the subject is doing something. For example, Miss Nichols kicked the ball. The passive voice is when we flip it, where something is happening to it. The ball was kicked by Miss Nichols. So again, we've kind of got that key word of was. So again, active voice, the subject is doing something. Passive voice, something is happening to it. We will also be continuing our learning on spellings using Spelling Shed, our guided reading sessions using Myon. So again, lots of writing this half term, but we are definitely seeing all those improvements through what we are doing. So we'll now talk about maths.
Okay, so for maths in Autumn 2, we are going to be spending most of our time looking at fractions, decimals and percentages. So the wonderful Miss Tohopoulos and I are just going to take you through some of the key fraction skills first of all. And this is probably one of the most trickiest ones, where we have to add and subtract fractions. Because usually we will be given two whole numbers, and then we will be given two fractions that have different denominators. And you're going to get me fed up of me saying to you, what's the problem? The problem is the denominators are different. So the first thing you have to do is make the denominators the same. So what I can do is I can change 3/4 into 8 by multiplying the denominator by 2. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do the same thing to the numerator. So 3 times 2 would be 6, 4 times 2 would be 8, and then we can see we've changed it so that our denominators are now the same. We can then do the adding part. We add the whole numbers first, so 2 add 5, which would be 7. Then we add our numerators, 6 add 7, which would be 13. The mistake people often make is they add the denominators together. You don't add the denominators, they stay the same. So it would be 7 and 13 eighths. But here's the other problem, Year 6. You can't have what we call an improper fraction. You can't have a fraction where the numerator on top is bigger than the denominator on the bottom. So what we have to do is take 8 of these 13ths to change our whole number into 8, and then that would leave us with 5 eighths left. So 2 3/4 add 5 7/8 gives us an answer of 8 5/8. Okay? The second thing we have to do, which is one of my favourite things, is quite often we will be asked to find a fraction of a number. Now again, Mr. Burns, who makes this SATs test, is very sneaky. He might put 4/5 times 25. It's the same thing, okay? We always follow the same steps. We divide this number by the denominator. So 25 divided by 5, and that would give us an answer of 5. And then we times that answer by the numerator. So 5 times 4, which gives us an answer of 20. So 4/5 of 25 is 20. This is the one.
So another area of fractions we will look at is dividing fractions by whole numbers as well as two fractions multiplied by each other. So this first one, we are taking our fraction and we are dividing it by a whole number. The way that we are going to do this, we are going to take our denominator and we are going to times it by our divisor, which is 3. So that will work out to be 6 times 3, which equals 18. So for your answer, you will have 1 over 18. For your second one, which is two fractions multiplied by each other, it's nice and simple. We take our two numerators and we times our two denominators. So you have 3 times 3, which equals 9. And then we also have 4 times 5, which is 20.
Excellent. So that's the end of our video. As always, if you've got any questions or if there's any extra help that you need, please come and talk to one of us. I promise you it's not as scary as it looks. We will get there, just like we did with long division and active and passive voice. We will be absolutely fine. Okay, we'll see you soon.